I thought I'd just tell you the story about when I broke my ankle, because you might find it funny. Some people might find it funny. I don't know, it's relative in a lot of ways. I've come around a long way to telling a story. Like people think I'm unsure, which I probably am, to a point. I think I'm owed a certain amount of money from different people for making their mistakes. But there's more important lessons to be learnt, I think. I broke my ankle. It's true. It was on April Fool's Day as well. Fortunately, just after 12 o'clock. I stopped to sketch church. I'll tell you the long story. It's more romantic, isn't it? I'd just come from a writing group and I was on the way to the cathedral, the Anglican cathedral, because we were writing, we've been given what were we given? An objective, I suppose, is the word, of writing about the cat that turns up at the cathedral. The cat just turns up at the cathedral and just started living there. I've forgotten its name. It's famous though. It was in all the papers. And so we were writing. We were doing a creative writing project on this cat, and I had to do like drawings of it. They were making a book or something. So I said originally I wanted to go and sit in the cathedral. What did she say? From the objective, the thing was we wanted to write from the not opinion of the cat. What's the word? You know, I had a head injury as well. When the cat first turned up at the cathedral, so that's what we were supposed to have written, is what the cat was thinking when it first walked into the cathedral. So I said, well, do you know what? I've not been to the cathedral for a long time. What I'm going to have to do is walk in to the cathedral and experience it as the cat. So I did that 1 week, and then I was on my way back again to continue it, living as the cat. Method again. And on the way, I'd stopped to sketch St Peter Hungate Church because I'd seen it before and I thought, do you know what, I want to go back to that church. I love it. It's a tiny little church. It's amazing. And I'd forgotten, so I sat down and sketched it. So I'd remember, because I've had a head injury. And I walked around the corner, down Elm Hill, which is supposedly the most haunted street in Norwich. They used to walk heretics down it on the way to burn them at Lollar's Pit. I'm just telling you this because it's history and like people think it's interesting. If you're coming to Norwich, you need to know the fucking top points to knock out before you hit the Prinny, which is the local break-up street, where you go to get mashed. All the clubs are the Prince of Wales Road. So you need to have a look around in the daytime first, don't you? So you can tell the kids when you get home that you haven't just been on the lash all weekend. I'm spinning a stale line just to get us tourists back up the town. So anyway, down Elm Hill is cobbled road, and I turned back to look at the St Peter Hungate Church. I've told a different story completely now. In case there was another way in, because the church was closed, it was shut up, and it was all had builders' things inside. And I was trying to see if I could sneak round the back. Anyway, as I was looking back up, I slipped off the pavement, snapped my ankle. Other stories have come from this, because it's a haunted street for one. And I was looking back at the church, which I've decided the Hungate was a hanging gate. Another person has said it, they agree with me, and they're an old street crackhead, so I'm more likely to believe them than the woman who said to me, no, there would never been a hanging gate. It was outside the city walls. But other people who like the take have done travelling. Anyway, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It was just writing, it was creative writing, and that's the thing, I ended up breaking my ankle. So I then passed out on the road. I know I went faint and I'd snapped my ankle, I heard it snap. Then this nice man came along and said, are you okay? I said, no, I don't think I am. So I clearly wasn't. And he said, he rang an ambulance, and they said it was going to be 6 hours. And it's like, do you know what? I was thinking about that time. Maybe I've just twisted it. Do you know me? I'm fucking metal, made of fucking metal, mate. I said, all right, don't worry about it. I went 6 hours. I'll be okay. So I think I'd sat up by that point, and started to feel a bit less green. He told me I turned green, so I'd gone into shock. And so I sat for a bit. They bought me some water from a calf. Stopped feeling sick. Tried to walk. I bandaged it. I had a scarf on, proper old Romany. You're all fucking prepared for war every time you leave the house. Strapped it up a bit and tried to hobble, and I have to know what, I couldn't do it at all. So I managed to flag down a car and say, can you drive me to walking centre? Which is like the, you know what it is, don't you? It's a massive joke on April the 1st. It was just after lunchtime. It's like triage, isn't it, basically? That's the word I'm thinking of. So I got there. He turned me out on the pavement. He did anyway. I hobbled down using the fence at the side. And I was thinking at the time, I've got this friend who lives in Sheringham. She broke her hip, her pelvis, while she was smashed one night. She was fucked on cat, probably, and everything else. And she was telling me she crawled home and with a broken pelvis. And then, because she was sold for knockers. You do, don't you? Army of one. So I was thinking, all I was thinking in my head was, do you know what, fucking hell, she can do this off her tits. I can sure as shit do it when I'm sober. So I dragged myself to the walking centre, hobbled down the fence. And the fucking receptionist goes, you haven't broken your ankle. I saw you walking. I thought, you silly bitch. Anyway, so I sat there for about 6 hours, then got into triage. And fucking soaked in my own piss as well. Pissed myself. The nurse in there said, you definitely need to have it x-rayed. It's not sprain. And then the old skank on the reception made me get a taxi to the N&N, the hospital. So I did anyway. I know, NHS though, give them a clap. Fucking bang on a pounded me. I wasn't in the mood, that's all. Got up there, £6 for a taxi. I said, can I have a bag to sit on in the taxi because I'm soaked in piss? And I think I haven't sit on my own bag because she weren't very helpful. Got up there, another fucking 6 hours. This crazy old woman who'd had her arm broken the week before. She was amazing. She was tiny little lady. She was about, how old was she? 70 or something. She'd had her arm broken the week before a couple of weeks before, by a horse who'd gone a bit crazy on the spring grass, but they'd sent her away as well. But she was pushing me around in a fucking hospital wheelchair with no steering. I was dying laughing because the endorphins had kicked in, and she was this crazy old mad woman, and I thought it's the funniest thing I've ever known in my life. It's like I've just snapped my ankle and been sent away by the ambulance service. I've been hauled around by this woman with one arm who's just been knocked over by a horse and still thinks it's hilarious. Anyway, they x-rayed me. Oh, mate. It's too long to tell. But he said he wasn't going to use... I said, can you x-ray me while I'm sitting in this chair? Basically, I've broken my ankle. And so he said, yeah, and he got a bucket. A metal bucket, I think. There was definitely metal involved. Put my foot on it. And then he wasn't going to use his good x-ray, new one, because he didn't want it to fall on the floor. He used an old one. So he used the x-rays on a metal bucket. And... then when they showed me, they said, you've just sprained it. Sent me away with a fucking Nurofen on the fucking bus. I'd already had other people afterwards say it's definitely broken. I've got friends who are nurses. Go back and get them to do it again. I went up to the doctors and it's like, do you know what? I cast it in the end. I just got back. The angels fucking dropped down from heaven. Got me on YouTube. No, a friend of mine in New Zealand actually, who is a nurse, who was in the UK, did all her nursing and worked as a nurse here, but she came from NZ, so she went back. I wonder why. Said it's broken. Have you got any comfrey in the garden? And I was like, what the fuck's this, mate? She's another crazy old crank. Which is that white nip bone. I'll show you. I fetched some out the park and grew it in the garden because I thought you never know when it's going to be useful again. She grows it because she adopted nine what are they called? Those native children from NZ. What are they called? Aboriginal children, a family. So she's got some in case they start breaking each other's legs. I'm spinning a yarn. I'm making it more fun. So I cast it. I got on YouTube and made up my own. I checked that she wasn't talking absolute baloney. and then made my own. What did she say? Just mash it up with some oil or something to get the sediment out of the thing, out of the plant. So what I did is chopped it up, stuck it in an old milk bottle. Do you know them plastic ones that I refuse to buy because I'm a vegan now, but still useful. I don't know if I was vegan then or not. I think I was, but my son wasn't. He was still using dairy anyway. He's not vegan, but he doesn't use dairy products. Tangent. In a microwave with water, comfrey, chopped it up, and a bit of oil, blitzed it for a couple of minutes, brought it out, blended it with a hand blender to make it into a sort of paste. And what I ended up doing, because I found it prickled, is wrapping my leg in cotton wool, like the blanket cotton wool, to stop the prickling, and put the comfrey juice all over it, and then wrapped it in cling film. Fucking hell, mate, it worked. Still, bang on your pants all day long. If I'm on the chore, do you not think I'm entitled to some sort of compensation for malpractice? And the other thing I always bang on here is, do you know what, if they can't spot a fucking broken ankle, what chance have they got with anything that you can't see, like an episode of psychosis that they think means you've got, what is it? What's the word? They label you as having... Tell me the word. Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, what's the word? Tell me the word. Come on. It'll come back to me in a minute. It'll come back to me. Vinny, help me. You know, you're a romantic sort of man. You know about olden days things. What's the fucking word? The one they like to dish out pills for. When you talk to other people in your head. That. If you're lucky, they call it. What do they call it? Chiming in. I can't remember. What's it word? It begins with... Does it begin with a T or an S? How am I going to help remember? I'll try to get it in. Psychosis, is that it? An episode of Psychosis. There's another word, isn't it? When you've fuck my fucking life at the rake. You know what I mean though, don't you? I'm going to go screaming mental if I can't remember what it's called. It's chiming in now. The angels are chiming in with you. All the demons, the black demons. What's a fucking word, you bunch of toe rags? You thieving. I'm not the thief. The machine's the thief, mate, not me. What's the fucking word? That's why they want me dead, you know. Illuminati-tastic. I'm joking. I help all the tribes. They want to slay the diseases. I'm coming talking about sneezes, how to heal the sneezes. That's why I talk to people. On the breezes. Sodding hell. I can't remember. I'm going to tip in though with the other bit though that I found out later on. About the liver being one of the liver's jobs. This is why I wrangle on about a lot of junk I do. One of the liver's jobs is dealing with viruses. And this is one of the reasons I gave up drinking. At the beginning of lockdown, I call myself a human petri dish. I don't really mind a lot of the time because it's useful, isn't it? Because I can deal with things from my level of being, which is why I'm always chiming in about everything that I'm doing. Like I'm recording everything for people to follow. Well, this is the stats on her. This is what she's eating, what she's drinking, what's happened, and what she's learned, so they can